Check, 1 2 1 2. What up, Scratch Crew? Yes, today is actually on. If you're watching from YouTube or Facebook, please join us on Twitch and you can get interactive with the comments real time. So today we're going to be looking at a scratch called the phaser. It's a lot of fun. It actually just involves the turntable or the jog wheels. Whatever kit you're using, you'll be able to manage this fine. So yeah, let's get started. Scott, you're right. We were meant to do paradiddles today. Okay, I'll just do both. that, dudes, is the phaser. The phaser is a laser, but you actually put your hand on the record. What's that? Good. So, what I like to do with this scratch is one of my hands is actually resting on the turntable, or in this case the Rain 12. The palm of my hand is where the 45 adapter is, just around here, right? None of my actual palm is on the record. I want enough pressure on the record that my fingers keep the record still, but the platter moves round underneath with ease. Like you're not adding that much pressure. It's just enough to stop the record moving. And with your fader hand, this is of course if you're a left-handed scratcher like me. If you're on the right hand, it'll be your fader hand holding the record and your scratch hand doing this motion. And I like to go forwards and backwards. I like to strike the record at about 5 PM, like this. The whole point is, when you strike with your other hand, you just release the pressure oh so slightly. You see my fingers are moving up and down here. If I don't move them, this is what happens. You get a tighter sound. And if I take some of that pressure away, you can try different patterns. I like to go 2 forward, 1 back sometimes, almost like a kind of forward tear. It's a pretty cool scratch to go into if you're doing a whole bunch of like transforms or chirps. So yeah, loads of cool kind of possibilities to kind of sneak in between fader intensive scratches. So yeah, that's what I kind of use it for. You can really kind of like master this scratch if you strike the outside of your record, because you get more bang for your buck. You're moving, you're striking more of the record the further outside you go, so you get more of a kind of like pew pew pew, like a phaser sound. By the way, this scratch record that I'm using right now, it's actually it's a scratch sentence. It's completely free. You can grab it on the Coffee link. It's called Adrenaline Shots Volume 1. It's free to download. So if you're looking for scratch samples, don't know where to look, go and grab that. It's totally free. And get scratching. There's not really much to it apart from that. Different rhythms will totally help. So as one of the students astutely put, we are actually meant to be doing a really complicated scratch today called the paradiddle. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now. The paradiddle is it's actually a drumming technique. It goes like this: paradiddle, paradiddle. So the diddle is the double tap, right? So remember that. The diddle is the double tap. It's a bit like Ned Flanders, the paradiddly. So with the paradiddle, translating those kind of stick movements on the drums to something on the decks sounds a bit like this. Very, very closely related to the prism scratch, which is like this. Paradiddle's a bit different. It's actually 4 notes per section, which means you can do it over a 4/4 beat. But, you ask, what the hell's going on? How are you doing that? So, this is the complicated bit. Part 1, do a chirp. Part 2, come back. So the part 1 is easy, it's a chirp. The second part is actually the forward motion of a original flare. So here's your chirp. So when you come back on the original flare, so here's the chirp. So paradiddle. So when you get halfway, you come back, do a backward chirp. So you start in the backward motion, start with the fader closed, and then after that, you're in the backward pose with your sample. You go, you do 2 clicks. So it's paradiddle, paradiddle. So you go paradiddle and then the opposite, paradiddle. Break it down real slow once more. So it's a chirp, and then you've got yourself an original flare, but half, just kind of 2/3. So the original flare is you're just going and holding it there. You're not coming back. You're staying where you are. Chirp. Let's break it down. I'm going to do it a few times over some beats. Paradiddle indeed. So when you come back, the last two, it's like a transform. The last diddle on the paradiddle. Paradiddle. So you have to do both combinations. Paradiddle, 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 paradiddle. Right? So that last bit, right there, 2 clicks. Just watch what I do right at the end of that, with 1 loop. Check it out. So you start that last diddle. Yeah? This is a crazy combo. It's like, what? Oh, I don't even count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different notes you're creating on the decks, and there's numerous different clicks. Here we go. Right, let's go through it one more time because it is nuts. So Funkatron says, I was doing it with chirps and 1-click flare with a mortar hand action. Yeah, well the thing is, because the motion that I'm doing on the record, there are tears underneath all the clicks, and I think we actually do that just to kind of emphasize the clicks as well on the fader. So we do the clicks on the platter as well as the fader, with the tears and the clicks, obviously. So the motion becomes and as someone rightly said once, there is a swirl halfway in between all of that. And a swirl is a forward tear, then a backward tear immediately after. Well, I'm using the Newmark mixer today because these sessions are actually kind of endorsed by Newmark and DJ Kit, and they provided me this badass mixers. Actually got pretty tight cut on the fader. I mean, there's nothing really that I can complain about. It's like butter. You know what I mean? It's pretty damn good. Here we go, let's break it down. Paradiddle scratch. Part 1 is a chirp. Yeah? And then halfway, do 2/3 of an original flare, right? So you do your thumb click first, just like a chirp again. That's your diddle, that's your first diddle in the paradiddle. Yeah? There's thumb, then click. Chirp. Thumb, click. Yeah? And you'll be halfway on your sample, you'll be at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Do a reverse chirp. That's it. Reverse chirp, and then 2 clicks back. Back to 0. Pretty cool scratch to do at like kind of much faster tempos. I'm just going to find this really, really quick kind of house tune. Let's see. I'll use this. It's definitely up there in like the god level, tiers of scratching. I think there's not many YouTube tutorials about it, mainly because it's just kind of a bit of a self-explanatory scratch. There's like, it's like a lot of scratch techniques. As a drummer myself, I always kind of realised a lot of the techniques, because I learned drumming second. I learned scratching first and then drumming second. Usually it's the other way around for most musicians, but I noticed like, oh wow, there's loads of patterns that carry across from the drums, hand movements, and if I can try and communicate those movements on the decks, a paradiddle is a very good example that work on both. I'm pretty sure you could probably do like paradiddles on guitars and stuff as well. So, but it just translates so well onto the decks. Yeah, so if you guys are having trouble, it's a tough scratch, let's be honest, but I'm going to break it down one more time. I'm going to break it down at this tempo, but half the time, so there are larger gaps in between each kind of movement, so you'll get to see again what I do. So for those who've just joined us, this is the paradiddle scratch. You probably won't find any YouTube tutorials on it, so I hope this comes in handy for you guys. You probably find that a lot of the scratches you already know that are inside this combo you can do, so you're just going to kind of put them in the right order, and hey presto, you've done yourself a new combo. Okay, we start with a chirp. Remember, when chirping, it's thumb led. You lead with the thumb. There are three kinds of clicking. There's a thumb led click, doesn't come. You start with the fader open with the scratch as well. That's also quite interesting to note. Chirp. Add a chirp, and then 2/3 of an OG flare. Remember, the OG flare, it's a click and then a click with your fingers. It's thumb, then click. Eventually, keep practicing that, you'll kind of get that bounce. Yeah? So it's a chirp, followed by that 2/3 of an OG flare. When you finish that, your sample will be at 2 o'clock. So my samples always start at 12. If you've got turntables, you might use your needles as references, but I have a sticker at 12. I'm currently at about 2 o'clock now. Let's do it again. After that click, your fader should be closed, but your record should be about 2 o'clock. And then do a reverse chirp. So you come back and then back again. So you come back to the top and then back. As you do that, it's almost like a redundant click. You just bring the fader open. So you do one of those, and then 2 clicks. Back. And then you'll be back at midday. Ready to do it again, right? Break it down even more, right? Let's do the second half of the scratch, the second paradiddle, because it's paradiddle. You get 2 different movements. Okay, so the second half. So start with your record at 2 o'clock, right? So let your sample play. And for those who've just joined us, this current scratch tool is one of my own. It's called Adrenaline Shots Volume 1. It's a freebie. Go to the Ko-fi link and you can grab it. It's the first tune in the shop, and if you're on Facebook, you can grab that by clicking on my Ko-fi link that's in the description too. So go and grab yourself some free scratch samples and get busy. So let the record play. Yeah, it's on the bottom right hand corner, ko-fi.com/Jimi Needles on there. So when you do the second half of the scratch, where you'll start is at 2 o'clock or just before. So when you do a reverse chirp, it's pretty much like a redundant, it's like a backward version of the chirp. So you start with the fader closed and you go back and then back again. So really, if you kept the fader open, it shouldn't actually affect the sound, but because there are 2 more clicks to come, we have to do a redundant click. That's what we call it. So I call it a reverse chirp with a kind of fake redundant click thrown in on top. So once we do that, just one of those, right? We're back at 2 o'clock again with our sound and our fader's closed. All we've got to do is transform twice coming back for our last diddle in the second paradiddle, because when we do a paradiddle, it's paradiddle, right? We swap the accenting of the movements and the clicks, so it's symmetry. All we're going to do is click twice and come back to midday. Yeah? Check it out. Click, click. Yeah. So guys, if you guys have got any questions, feel free to reach out on social media. You can reach me on Instagram, that's at Jimi Needles. I do Twitch TV every Monday, the Monday Scratch Club. It broadcasts to YouTube and Facebook too, but all the chat happens here on Twitch. So please, if you're watching somewhere else, get yourself a Twitch account or log into your Twitch account and follow me. I'm doing a DJ set on Wednesday from 8 till 9. I'm playing hip hop beats, kind of like chill out stuff, like vibey, kind of like back to mind stuff. And on Friday, I'm doing a charity gig for Bristol, as we're still in Tier 3 lockdown over here. More info on that on socials to follow. But yeah, guys, I hope you found today really useful. And yeah, we'll make it even harder next week. I'm sure it'll be the last one before I have a little holiday, and then we'll be back in the new year. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, and I will see you soon.